Okay, everybody. So this video is going to be about why you should be a systems integrator instead of an automation consultant. Okay, so this is actually my first ever video actually diving into my business model and what I've been able to do with my clients over the past 2 years. Okay, so after working with 200 plus business owners between my done for you and my do it yourself automation offers, I have experienced every single bottleneck, every pain point, from collecting passwords to what accounts to use to what should the client do, what are the requirements, how do we collect those requirements. I have done it all. I've seen it all. I've delivered great results. I've delivered poor results. And what I'm going to show you is going to open your eyes to why you should actually be a systems integrator instead of an automation consultant. Okay, so previously I was an automation consultant until I had realized that my business was not scalable because the word consultant meant that it was tied directly to my skill set, my expertise, and my time. Okay. And so, what I'm going to walk you through is what the flywheels of an automation agency versus systems integrator are, and how you actually go about the mechanism that delivers the end result. Okay. So, if you find this video valuable, this is actually going to be the first video for systemsintegrator.io. If you are interested in joining systemsintegrator.io, it is going to be a different program and from the one that you're currently watching this in right now. And we will be taking pre-sales as soon as you are interested. So we're going to prove the concept with a pre-sale and use that money to reinvest time and resources into making sure that this is the best program possible so that we can give you guys the best support possible. So if you are interested and you are somebody who is doing this as a business model and you've been watching me do this for a while, getting feedback, maybe this is the right move for you once you are done with the AA 2.0 program. Okay, so let's start off with automation agency. So there's a few things about automation agency. Okay, so when you're just building automations for people, you are a commodity. Okay, and so you do not have a unique value proposition. You might have a niche, you might have content that does well, but you can hire somebody on Fiverr or an operations VA to actually build workflows in Zapier for you. Okay, so I did that inside of my business to actually stop performing the actual service delivery to try and remove me from the automation agency. But the thing was that the only unique value prop that I had was all of my social proof online and the fact that I was one of the biggest content creators talking about Zapier. Okay, so that alone was the only unique value prop I had. And if you don't create content, then you're not going to have that like additional leverage in the market like I did. And I do believe that with that leverage, it still was a pretty unscalable model. I'm going to show you why. Okay, so you are a commodity doing this when you just do automations. You're just the automations guy, right? And you can't charge big prices because you could, you know, charge 5 to 10K for a ton of different zaps. I'm going to run into why that's not scalable here with this current model. But the fact is that you're going to be dealing with, people who can't afford 2K to people who can't afford 10K. And so you're actually not going to be able to, you're going to be working with everybody, or you might have niched, but you're going to be working with a bunch of custom tools and processes that you're not familiar with or haven't mastered, leading to you not being able to charge as big of prices. Okay. And I've tried with the, reoccurring model as well. It was extremely difficult to provide additional value after the zaps have been set up, right? So it's very hard to kind of scale this business model. It also relies on you and your team's expertise for the longest time because either you're in the content, you're the one who's mastered automation, you're the one who loves it, and because you're charging low prices, you haven't been able to reinvest into someone just like you who understands. Maybe they do, but they can't communicate it like you. So it's a big bottleneck in actually removing you. So it ends up either relying on you to onboard the clients, actually map out what the system is going to look like, and oversee the project management of it. it relies on you and or your team's expertise if you did replace yourself in that matter. Okay. And then the last thing is that because it's custom work, which I'll run through in a second, it's unscalable. So I ran every single kind of mechanism you could imagine, from forcing tools on clients to not giving them support, to building it for them, to giving them a checklist, to having them go through modules, to us doing everything entirely for them using their tools. And it was unscalable because some clients wanted to use one CRM, some clients wanted to use a different team communication tool, some clients didn't even have a project management tool. So it's like, okay, do we tell them to set this up, but we don't have enough, we're not charging enough to invest into someone to set it up for them? Elements like that led to it being unscalable. And so as you can see here with this automation agency flywheel, you are building custom infrastructures that are custom based on the client's current tools, their current process, and any assets that they currently have, and you're just building automations on top of it, okay? And so because of this, you experience bottlenecks in fulfillment due to all of the additional variables, like the different tools, them having assets, not having assets, you needing to step in, going through revisions, etc. And there's a big bottleneck in fulfillment due to the so many variables in the requirements and assets, even with you when you niche, because then everyone's using different tools, right? And people haven't even documented their processes, which is what I'm going to show you how I ended up being a systems integrator. So from here, because of this, it actually causes you to get bad results for clients at a certain scale. So one client a month, no, but once you get 5 clients per month, 4 or 5 plus, you're actually not going to be able to scale because of the bottlenecks, and you're so involved. And so then you get bad results for clients at scale, which then leads to more one-on-one calls with you on the call with the client, to then wasting and having less margins on each customer, nonstop revisions because they didn't even have their process dialed in and they're still dialing it in. So they need back and forth, and you're not charging for that. And you can't justify charging them what you want because they don't know when they're going to need revisions, and because of all the missed deadlines. There's so many missed deadlines after going back and forth. So from there, you end up just building more custom solutions, and you never leave kind of this loop here, because there's bottlenecks and you get bad results and you're on more calls, and then you get the next client and you do it over and over again. Okay, so right here is the old way. Now this is the new way. Being a systems integrator, you have more leverage and you have a big unique value prop because you have already mastered a system in an industry or for a certain type of business that works. And you already have the assets built out. You already have the framework, the standard operating procedures, the automations, the system. And so it's unique. You are not a commodity anymore because no one has actually done the exact, mapping out that you have done and the intellectual property that you've come up with from all the experience you've had. Okay, so you can charge whatever you want because of this. And it's simple because all you have to do is go into the business, integrate the infrastructure, build it, and then release it. So you can actually step away after it's theirs and they own it. Or you can provide and place a team member to do additional support inside of it for $1,000 to $1,500 a month. Okay. And this is because it's already proven work and you already have the assets, you already have the tools you're going to use, you already have the automations built on the back end, you already have a case study, you already know who it helps. It's so much more scalable and you can charge much more. So when you're a systems integrator, you're helping people with more than just automation, which I'll show you here in a second. So you're installing proven infrastructures, not custom based on the client's need. You're still identifying their need, and you as the expert are installing your proven infrastructure. And because of this, the requirements plus the assets are consistent because we've implemented do-it-yourself, done with you, and done for you elements of the offer, which I'll show you here in a second. So we're actually already just like holding the client's hand. They're just editing a few things here and there as we're doing a majority of the work. So they're helping us understand their process better. And we're improving it and giving them feedback. Then because of this, we're able to get great client results at scale. And then the deadlines are on time. And it leads to client ascension, because once we have their onboarding process out, and then they want to go for a different process, right? So because you break it down into the different processes I'll show you here, you can actually ascend them into your other offers, right? Which then leads to you installing more proven infrastructures. Okay, so this is a scalable model compared to the old way of doing it, of just building automations. Okay. And so here is how somebody even provides value with automation agency or a systems integration business. So this is the current state, and this is the desired outcome. This is after working with so many clients, and these are all of the mechanisms and the touch points. So we have, first, we need to know either their tech stack or the tech stack we're going to implement. As you can tell, it used to be I've tried everything, theirs or ours. All right, so those are the two options for tech stack. And then we have assets like forms, client onboarding forms, KPI sheets, databases, folders, all that great stuff. It's also required in order to build them a system that gives them the end result of the desired outcome. So their tech stack, either theirs or the one we provide. Assets, either theirs or the ones we provide, which we've tried both. We've tried even our tech stack with their assets, etc. And then we have their process. We need to either use their process, or we need to give them the best process, or we can do a little bit of with them and optimize their process, right? So there's 3 different elements there. You can imagine 2 times 2 times 3 is going to give you a lot of different outcomes. I've tried all of them. All right. And they all have their own bottleneck. All right. And so then after you have the tech stack, the assets, the process, then you build the automation on top of it. And from there, you provide support and training on it once it's done, and there you go, desired outcome. And so with adding different elements done with you, do it yourself and done for you, you could imagine that there were a lot of different bottlenecks. For example, if you were an automation agency, which I'll show you down here, you're using their tech stack, you're using their assets, you're using their process, and you're just building the automation. So you are a commodity, right? But then you realize that not everybody has the best tech stack. People are missing assets or don't have some, and people don't fully understand their process or haven't even documented it. So building automations just on top of it is going to bottleneck you at every single area here with tech stack, assets, and process, leading you to never actually reach the desired outcome, which is what I went over right here with an automation agency. Okay. And so this is how you provide service with an automation agency and all the bottlenecks. The current state, like I said, you use the client's tools. But the thing is, client's missing tools. Then you use their assets. Client is missing assets. Then you use their process. Client has no process. Then you build Zaps on top of those. The Zaps don't fix the original bottleneck. And then you get feedback on everything and try and revise it, but the client isn't the expert. And so because they don't have this stuff dialed in, they have no idea if this is the best, automation process. So you can't even get feedback on it. So this is completely unscalable. Yeah, it's going to make you $20K a month, right? With 5K, 4 projects per month, but you are going to be you're going to be actually losing money in the long term on these clients, because you're just going to go back and forth. You're not going to be paid for your time correctly, and things will be tied to your time. So that's after running my automation agency, generating over 6 figures in my first 12 months. Okay. And working with so many businesses, even non-online service providers. And then from here, all right, how do we provide value as a systems integrator then? Okay. Well, the current state, very similar, the same actual activation points and getting somebody then a result, but instead we already have the tools that are the best. We have Slack, we have a Notion built out, we use ClickUp, we have Zoom, we use Google Drive. We already know, coming in as the expert who has proven this entire concept to begin with, which is important, you have to prove this first, is the best for that client. Okay, so we actually have to just tell them what tools that we're going to be using, and from there they we can't just give them a link to go set it up. We realized that didn't work either throughout the transformation. So you actually have to have somebody, because you're able to charge more. Now you can have somebody who actually installs the tools for the clients. Okay, so that's a done for you element. Okay, instead of do it yourself, it's a done for you. Then we install assets for our clients, because we're only going over one process, like an onboarding process or a sales process, fulfillment. We already know what assets are involved with that client and that industry. So even if they have their own, we can add them on top of that. But we know the best assets as the expert, like we already have them built, and it's very easy to just duplicate these and install them into the client. Okay, so we've already built the assets. That's the biggest leverage aspect of this. And then from here, you document the process with the client. Okay, so instead of them doing it themselves or you doing it for them, then we go over their current process and we document it extensively. We have them document it, and then we give them feedback, revisions, see room for automation. So we help them optimize. So it's done for you, done with you, right? And then we install proven Zaps for that process that we already know works on top of the tools we installed for them, on top of the assets that we installed for them, and the process that we help them refine. We take our 20 to 30 pre-built Zaps that we have for onboarding that's proven to work in the past, and we install the majority of those, 80-20 rule, 80% of those that line up best with their business, okay? That's done for you. And then we have a done with you element of providing training and support. So then we realized after it was built, we need to tell you how it works. Okay, we need to show you how you need to be doing naming conventions for files. What the best case of filling out forms, sending forms needs to be done. So we actually need to provide training and support on this, and we can do this with some done with you elements like having them go through modules or workshops as well to better understand it. So from here, the systems integrator business, you're more than just an automation agency. What you are is you have a proven infrastructure that can guarantee results, and you're just duplicating it across one niche or one vertical. You already have the tools, you already have the right assets. So obviously this involves a lot more expertise. You can start off as an automation agency, but just know that one day you're going to have to change. You're going to have to switch to this, okay? No matter if you're using Zapier or Make, it goes across the board. I've seen, after extensive research, people who have Zapier businesses that help people one-on-one with Zaps that are broken and they give them feedback, not scalable, okay? I've seen people who use their current tools and use their processes, not scalable. It's not dialed in. But when you actually already have a proven framework that works, a case study, assets, sales assets, all that great stuff, you can scale this much quicker and much faster and charge much more than an automation agency owner, okay? And so these are the different verticals that I would be targeting and breaking down into your offer. And I'll go over offer in more videos if you do decide you want to join the pre-sale for this program. Okay, and so that's going to be sales process. You're going to have experience with the sales process, not just automations. If we're talking being a systems integrator, you're going to have to know appointment setting. You're going to have to know how to generate leads. You're going to have to know more than just automating. Okay, so it's very important the one you pick, you have expertise in. So I would start with one first and then start offering the others as you work with more clients. And there's onboarding process. That's probably one of my specialties. It's probably the best value I can provide right now into the market. We have service and fulfillment, project management for projects. That is another vertical that I can really help people in with our pre-built assets, which we give you inside of systemsintegrator.io, okay? We have customer support, right? You need to be able to automate this. Some depending on the business, they don't need it, okay? So it's all about what type of business you pick, and I go over the verticals and niches as well in this new program. And so we will be discussing that and helping you pick out your niche, okay? So from there, we also have team member hiring. So these are different verticals in team member onboarding that you can kind of build infrastructure around that's proven. You could prove the concept, partner with a business, scale them, charge them a very big fee, like a minimum 10K setup, install it, and then after it's done, you can leave, give them support, training, done with you elements. You've also educated them throughout the process, and then they ascend onto your other offers, or you install somebody into their business to manage it for $1,500 a month, okay? So these are the different verticals that you can target. So I wanted to go over this to say, you should be a systems integrator instead of an automation consultant. There are people that are teaching the old way. There is not even a proven framework for kind of selling operations as a service. I aspire to, have all of you guys end up doing that as well with me and coming along this journey. seeing exactly what the systems are, everything that you need, the sales frameworks, all that stuff that I've never gone over. I'm finally going to be diving deep into. So if you are interested and you want this doc, please let me know and join the pre-sale.